Day two of the Parliament's winter session, and today seemingly a breakthrough was arrived at in the Parliament logjam that has been sort of plaguing the House for the last couple of days. There was an all-party meeting today called by the Lok Sabha Speaker, Om Birla. There was ruckus and sloganeering and multiple adjournments since the start of the winter session. The government has now agreed to the opposition's demand of a debate on SIR. So on the 9th and the 10th of December, that's Tuesday and Wednesday next week, there will be a discussion on larger electoral reforms to be held. It's going to happen both in the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha on Tuesday and Wednesday. 10 hours each have been allocated for these two debates. Law Minister Arjun Ram Meghwal will reply to the debate on the election reforms. Also on Monday, there will be a debate that the government has initiated on the Vande Mataram controversy and whether or not parliamentarians are allowed to say Vande Mataram in the House. Now, this logjam basically began 3 days ago during the Centre's all-party meeting when the opposition first demanded a full discussion on SIR, otherwise they will not allow Parliament to function. Remember, the previous monsoon session was almost entirely washed out because of the SIR issue. The government, while ready for a debate, requested time to consult all party leaders, all floor leaders of all parties, both in the NDA and in the India Alliance. The very next day, which was the first day of the winter session, the opposition doubled down on its demand and sought an immediate discussion under Rule 267, which requires setting aside all other business and discussing matters of urgent importance. Now, the government reiterated that it's willing to have the debate. In fact, the minister, the Parliamentary Affairs Minister, Mr. Rijiju, even yesterday said on the floor of the House that we are willing to have a debate on electoral reforms, but the opposition cannot be dictating the timeline, when and how and where it should happen. Today as well, both houses witnessed frequent disruptions and adjournments, and finally, the government had to concede to the SIR debate. The government is now allocated 10 hours for debate on electoral reforms, first in the Lok Sabha on Tuesday next, and then in the Rajya Sabha on Wednesday. Let's listen in to some political reactions.
देश में पूरा चुनाव प्रक्रिया को आगे बढ़ाने में इलेक्शन कमीशन अपना भूमिका को अच्छी तरह से निभाती है, लेकिन उसका एक रूल्स रेगुलेशन है जो पार्लियामेंट ने ही बनाया है। पीपल्स रिप्रेजेंटेशन एक्ट है, वो भी पार्लियामेंट ने ही पारित किया है। तो जो बड़ा इलेक्शन रिफॉर्म्स का विषय होता है वो पार्लियामेंट को ही चर्चा करना होता है। जहाँ तक SIR का है, वो इलेक्शन रिफॉर्म्स का जब चर्चा होगी तो SIR का मुद्दा भी वो उठा सकते हैं। SIR जो है बेसिकली एक जो चुनाव आयोग का एक एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव डिसीजन है, एक प्रशासनिक व्यवस्था है जो उन्होंने किया है।
So after 2 days of pandemonium, finally the winter session of Parliament could see some work. There was a breakthrough that was achieved in the second half of the day after a meeting called by Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla. Parliamentary Affairs Minister Kiran Rijiju confirmed that a discussion on electoral reforms have been agreed upon, a 10-hour discussion in Lok Sabha which could be extended further, and before that a discussion on Vande Mataram as its centenary is being celebrated. So how was this impasse broken? Because we had seen the opposition up in arms on the SIR issue in monsoon session as well, and even this morning there was protest at the Makar Dwar. So we are told that the impasse was broken when both sides decided to dial down their rhetoric. Opposition was insisting on a discussion on SIR. The government's position was that SIR was an administrative decision by an autonomous body, the Election Commission, and therefore no discussion could happen on that. There was nobody in the government who had the power to respond to the SIR issue. But ultimately, both sides agreed upon that a broader discussion on electoral reforms can take place. Within electoral reforms, the opposition side can raise its issue of BLO deaths, of SIR, the manner in which it is unfolding. On the government side, they're going to cite Bihar polls in a major way to defend SIR. All the misgivings of the opposition have been nullified, is the government's claim, supported by the Election Commission data as well. Not a single repoll ordered in Bihar. There were no mass protests as well. Nobody took to the ground, nobody took to the streets of Bihar protesting that SIR was an act of exclusion. And this misgiving that people will be wrongly disenfranchised, even that has proved to be incorrect as far as Bihar is concerned.
So I want to go back to Nasir Hussain of the Congress and Zafar Islam of the BJP. Nasir Saab, the entire monsoon session of Parliament was washed out on this SIR issue. You went to the people of Bihar, you said it's a huge issue, it's the biggest issue. You went to the people of Bihar, and ultimately what happened? They voted the NDA back in power with a huge majority. Congress party is reduced to its worst performance, just 6 seats. RJD is down to 25 seats. I mean, maybe you picked the wrong issue, and now today again, this winter session, first 2 days have been washed out because you want a discussion on SIR.
Zaka, that's exactly what we were saying just before the Bihar election. We knew what happened in Haryana, 25 lakh voters were deleted. We knew what happened in Maharashtra, around 55 to 60 lakh voters were added. We knew what was happening, what was going to happen in Bihar. 65 lakh voters were deleted all of a sudden. So the whole issue is, now they have finished misusing IT, ED and CBA. You know what happened in the last 10 years with IT, ED and CBA. Now they have started making use of election commission. So forget of our allegations. There are so many allegations in SIR. First of all, the election commission cannot have a country-wide SIR at all. According to 21(3) of ROPA, they can only have SIR in part of one constituency or one constituency. It cannot go beyond that. There are many technical and legal issues involved in this entire exercise. They cannot decide on citizenship issue. They cannot issue on refugees issue. There are so many issues which election commission is overstepping. But the whole point is, forget about all the allegations by the opposition parties against election commission or the entire process. Don't you think when there are accusations, when there are anomalies, when there are issues with the entire electioneering system, post 75 years of our parliamentary democracy, we need to revisit our electoral procedures and processes. We need to see the concerns that have been raised not only by the common citizens but also by political parties which have been in power, which are out of power also. Let us have a free and fair discussion.
Okay.
The government say nobody can discuss election commission, but the people in the government, the party in the government, their representatives on television channels, outside the parliament, they defend the election commission. So you come and defend in the parliament. Let us have a fair discussion on that. Why were you running away from it?
You didn't allow the SIR discussion. Entire monsoon session got washed out. Now opposition is claiming that as many as 41 BLOs have committed suicide or died because of the increased workload, and therefore you're forced to concede to the opposition's demand to discuss SIR. Zafar Islam.
Well, Zaka, you have to understand their intent. The opposition bench, actually, they have demonstrated time and again that they do not want discussion or debate on the floor of the parliament. They just want one thing: disrupt the parliament. And as soon as they see the camera, they are not interested in work, they are interested in camera. The moment they see camera, they start their drama and show that they are protesting on something or the other. Actually, it is only for the optics purpose, nothing else. They know exactly that SIR exercise is important for cleaning up the voter list, to ensure that only the bona fide voters are part of the list, and people who have died, to people who have migrated, people are no longer living in that particular area or the city, their name should be removed from
So
there.
why didn't you agree to having a debate earlier? Why did you have to wait for a session in 3 days to agree to a debate?
No, actually, what you have seen, do a back testing and you will realize that whatever gets discussed and agreed in the Business Advisory Committee, there is a meeting of minds that this particular topic will be discussed and their time is allocated. But once they are on the floor of the parliament, they will start disrupting it. So they are not interested in discussion. But let me tell you one thing very important. Now they have agreed, they will be exposed. They will regret of discussing this issue, because we will really expose them, and Congress will have no face and no leg to stand after this discussion and debate on these electoral reforms.
You know, if SIR was such a big issue, why didn't it resonate with the people of Bihar? We had shown on the day of the Bihar results in over 100 constituencies where SIR was seemingly an important issue, the Congress and its allies got wiped out. Congress party ended up with just 6 seats.
Zaka, you are again and again saying the same thing. The whole point is, we said 65 lakh voters have been deleted. Who are these voters? What are their backgrounds? To whom did they belong to? Whom do you think they would have voted had the names been there on the electoral rolls? That is exactly what we are saying. These are selective deletions from the electoral rolls. These are selective deletion, targeted deletions. That was our fear, and that is what actually has come true. Forget about that thing. The BJP spokesperson was saying something about discussions in the parliament. We run away from the discussion. Who ran away from the discussion on Manipur? Who ran away from the discussion on farm laws? Who ran away from the discussion on labor codes? Who ran away from a discussion on various issues which were raised in the past post 2014? Please do a research from your channel, and in next debate tomorrow, day after tomorrow, let us sit and find out how many issues of the opposition, how many issues that the opposition has been accommodated.
It's not the opposition that's running away. It's the government. It's the government that is running away. That's what Nasir Hussain is claiming.
And they could have accepted for this. And he was just 1 second, Zaka, 1 second. Zaka, 1 second. 1 second, Zaka. 1 second. He was speaking about business advisory committee. Rijiju in business advisory committee had given a word to all opposition parties that he will come back to the opposition parties on Monday morning, and he will declare the timing of the debate on Monday morning. So that's why he said that you came back to parliament and you're not announcing the date. Today they announced the date. From tomorrow parliament will function.
Okay. Zafar Islam, you are running away, not the opposition.
Actually, you can dig those reports, what I'm trying to tell you and convey to the people of this country who's watching this television at this point in time, that whenever we have agreed for some debate, there is a meeting of minds in the Business Advisory Committee. They discuss, they have spoken, and then when either the Prime Minister is speaking or the Home Minister is speaking, they will boycott and sit outside. We have seen many times. They are not interested. They just want to disrupt the parliament or boycott the parliament. Had they been interested in discussion about Manipur, then why did they walk out? Tell me, why did they walk out if they were really interested in debate and discussion on Manipur? You know that the fact that they had walked out. They didn't show any interest in the debate and discussion on Manipur. So what I'm trying to tell you, that you have to understand their intent. Their intent is not to let the discussion or debate take place. Their intent is not to let the bill gets passed. Their intent is let the people of India suffer. Let the taxpayers' money be wasted. I mean, how that can happen? A handful of people will disrupt the parliament. No, debate will take place. Discussion will take place, and we will pass the bill and make the legislation.
Hopefully, we'll have a meaningful discussion on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday in Parliament. But thank you very much in the meanwhile, Zafar Islam and Nasir Hussain, for joining us. We'll see how this plays out for the rest of the winter session of Parliament.